Hi, I'm Jared, Head of Research and Development at TNMF, and today we're going to be installing Mudflaps on a 2013 Crosstrek XB. So first we're going to be installing the rear Mudflap on the car. There are 3 points. You're going to be using the factory bolt here. You're going to have to make your own hole here using the self-tapping screws provided, and there'll be a C-clip included as well as another self-tapping screw here. So the tools you're going to need for the rear are a Phillips head screwdriver and a body pry tool. We're going to be taking off the splash guard in order to make the Mudflap install. It makes it much easier for the install. So first we will remove the one factory bolt, and you'll want to put that to the side. Make sure you save that, and then we will be removing the first pop clip, and then there is a pop clip underneath. And then the splash guard will come off. So after you remove the splash guard, you're going to take the provided C-clip or U-bolt or U-nut off out of the kit that was provided, and you're going to slide it up over just like so, and make sure that the bottom of the U-nut is resting at the bottom of this here. After that, you can go ahead and put the splash guard back on. You may be able to put the U-nut on without taking the splash guard off, but it definitely makes it much easier. So we're going to put our pop clips back into place. And now we can start installing the rear mud flap. So we're going to be installing the rear mud flap first by putting the top bolt in the top hole provided on the mud flap. Now, quick note, it may be easier to kind of line this up and possibly drill some of the holes before putting the mud flap in. However, this one we already kind of drilled the holes. The second one, you'll want to put one of the screws provided. It's a self-tapping screw into the C-clip in the rear. And last, you'll have another self-tapping screw that you will have to tap into the plastic splash guard. So with the rear installed like this, you can go ahead and we can put the wheel back on. It is easier to take the wheel off, especially for the rear. The front we will go over later. So for the front, we're all going to do the same thing as we did for the back. We're going to remove the splash guard. It has 2 bolts and 1 pop clip underneath to remove the splash guard. So you take your screwdriver, and if any of these bolts are too tight, you can use a ratchet and wrench with an 8mm or 5/16 socket. So for the front, it's a very similar setup. We're going to install the U-nut or C-clip on the bottom here. Same way as the back, you slide it on. It's going to still touch the bottom here, and it's going to be very close to the edge here, and that will line up for the hole that needs to be made in here with the self-tappers. The other 2 are also going to be self-tapped into the plastic splash guard, as well. So once you have the C-clip in place, you can go ahead and put that back in. Put your 2 bolts back in, your factory bolts. And your pop clip in the bottom. So now that we have the splash guard back on, we can go ahead and install the mud flap. Best way to start this is to use the bottom hole here to go into the C-clip. So now, to line up the holes for these, to get them in the right spots, it is going to be 3 centimeters from the edge of the splash guard to the edge of the mud flap. That will mark how far out you need to go. Best to use a tape measure, a ruler, or something of that nature. Once you have everything measured and aligned, you can go ahead and use the self-tappers to start going into the plastic splash guard. And just go ahead and double check the screw down here to make sure it's tight. And now you have the front mud flap installed. Thank you for watching our video on how to install mud flaps on a 2013 Crosstrek. Please visit our website at tnmudflaps.com. Also view our Facebook page at TNMF Mudflaps. Thank you for all your support. Have a good day.